might sound. That's the disclaimer. So if you wanna come after the shir and look up all the Makaris here, you're welcome to check. On that note, we have a pasuk in Exile that says as following: "Vayilahem lemikdash ma'at ba'artzis sheba'u sham." Abishur says, "I'm going to build for them a mikdash ma'at," literally a small mikdash, small sanctuary, whatever you want to call it, a mikdash, in the land where they went there. And explains in the Gemara in Brachas, that even in the times of Galus, there's a mikdash ma'at, there's a base of mikdash. That when the Shekhinah went into Galus, Shekhinah came with us, and so to the same formation, so to speak, of the Jewish people remained intact. Obviously not in its shleimus, not in the best way. The best is to be in Yerushalayim, Karbanes, all the mitzvahs for shleimus. But the same way, there was a base of mikdash. There's a base of mikdash within Galus. And the Gemara calls it over there. There's two shots. What is this base of mikdash about? One, it says it's all the Bati Knesses and Bati Midrashis, all the shuls and all the base madishes. Another pshat is it's called Ze Beis Rabbeinu Sheba Babel. This is the house of Rabbeinu, of our Rebbe, in Babel, within the times of Galus. And the maskana basically of the Gemara is there's no machlekes. There are two ideas. They're two of the same thing basically. Within every shul, within every base mad, there is this inyan of it being a mikdash bat, but the etzim, the whole shleimus, which is keeping all of this stuff running, the etzim inyan is in Beis Rabbeinu. It's in one specific place. So the Rebbe is medayik and goes through basically this idea of Beis Rabbeinu. He breaks it apart in two ways to see what's the mal of each word literally. What's base, abayis. So the Rebbe says, "But pashtus, what does it mean? What is Beis Rabbeinu? What is this Beis Hamikdash, this that we see in Galus? It's a place where Yidden Pashut, they learn and they daven. And not just that, but it's a place where at the time of Galus, there is a Nasi, there's a leader of the generation, whatever time, going back to Bavel, up until now, there's someone that's giving Hayras, they're giving instructions for how to conduct ourselves, just like the Rebbe makes this comparison, Al Pi Niglet, it's just like basically the Sanhedrin, which would sit and deliver Piskei Dinim and tell the Yidden what to do. In the times of the basic understanding, so too it's the same idea that we have now. And because we know that it says that from the day the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Ein Leila Kadosh Baruch Hu B'Olamai, the Eibishter only has Ela Dalet Amais Shalacha. The Eibishter has found, what do we have now in times of Galus? We have Alacha, we have Piskei Dinim. And it's understood from this that the main place we're talking about where these Hayras come out, that and really how we can understand the idea of the Beis Hamikdash, the Shekhinah rests there, and the Sanhedrin is sending the session. So too, there's a place in Galus. I'm going to explain more what that means. That the Shekhinah rests in this place, where we have Torah and Hayras going out. So that is then medayik. What does it mean Rabbeinu? We have a bias. We have a place with Torah, davening. We have a formation of the Yidden. It's formed in this one place. What does it mean Rabbeinu? The Rebbe explains that Rabbeinu is really the ikar here. The fact that there's one Nasi that's in this place. So it's true that there's the Shekhinah where 10 Yidden reside. That you have a minyan, whether it's in a shul, 10 Yidden reside. We say that the Shekhinah rests there. We said there's different dargas. That's obviously true. But what we can be medayik from the Gemara, it says that when Beis Rabbeinu went into Galus, we're traveling in Babel. Picture yourselves in Babel now. The Gemara lists a bunch of places that it first went from here, then it went to there, then it went to here in like a sequential order. So the Gemara basically speaks about this. There's one specific place, depending on the time, depending on where Nasi is, depending on where the majority of the Jewish people are, that's where the Ikar Shekhinah is. That's where like the main, like the highest revelation you'd say of the Shekhinah is resting at that time. And it's one place only. It's true. The Shekhinah is in every shul, in every base madrash where 10 Yidden are learning davening. But
conservative?
Any 10 Yidden. Right? It even says Yidden that are doing Averis, Chas v'Shalom.
Not that.
10 Yidden are in the same place as Shekhinah. But we're saying there's different levels. So, yeah, 10 Dam Shokis, exactly. So, we're not just talking about the time of Galus. The Rebbe explains this idea of Beis Rabbeinu. It's not just like a temporary thing, but the Beis Rabbeinu is very much connected with the start of the Gula. Because we know, there's I don't know, I think it's from the Gemara. The Sidin Bati Knesset Bati Midrash Bavel Shigitzu Beretz Yisrael. All shuls and all base medrashes are literally, Gemara explains, this is all Pinegla, are going to travel from their place in Galus, and the base of Mikdash will be formed of a bunch of these different shuls and base medrashes. They will literally connect themselves to each other. There's going to be like a giant base of Mikdash. What? Yeah, it's serious. So, and the Rebbe explains that basically they'll be connected according to the darga they're holding at whatever level they are. And then the center of them, what's going to basically connect them? What's connected to the base of Mikdash itself, that Rebbe explains, and partly part of the base of Mikdash itself, is going to be the base of Rabbeinu. All the different base of Rabbeinus throughout time, and most of the last base of Rabbeinu in times of Galus. And what then connects all the other shuls and base Bati Knesias to that base of Mikdash? It's like through a mutz, it's through base Rabbeinu, which we can understand basically how it's working in the time of Galus. The base of Rabbeinu is Iker, the Shekhinah is in all these other places, but what's connecting? What is the main Shekhinah resting with? And every other place is tuned in and connected to. It's all connected to the base of Rabbeinu, and we see even how the formation comes in to Eretz Yisrael, that everything else can be connected to base of Rabbeinu, to the base of Mikdash. So the third milah that Rebbe gives. So we've had 2 milas now. One is that the biggest milah is that the main Shekhinah is resting there. The second is, we say in the Geula, it'll be like the center connected into the base of Mikdash. It's responsible for bringing everything together. The third milah that Rebbe says, and we're going to be Medaik and Rambam to see what this really means, is that Mashiach and the Shekhinah will first reveal themselves in Beis Rabbeinu, in Galus. And from there, all the Yidden will be gathered and brought into Eretz Yisrael. It's going to require some explanation. It's a radical statement. The Shekhinah is first, because the Shekhinah is resting itself there. And then when the time comes, the Geula is going to basically start there. The base of Mikdash is going to start reforming. And then from there, we're going to go into Eretz Yisrael. So, first of all, let's do some explaining. We've said a lot of interesting things. I think so. Let's look at some psukim. Let's look at some nigla. Let's look at some chumash. So we have a pasuk that the Gemara learns out. It says, "Vashem Hashem Elokecha es shvasecha," that Hashem will return your captives. Pshat is the Eibusher is going to bring the Yidden back to Eretz Yisrael, into the Gula. But the proper wording would have been here, through being a daik, v'heishiv. So the Eibusher will return. And it's understood in the fact that Vashav Hashem Elokecha, that what does the verse really mean? Is that the Eibusher himself is sitting within Galus. That the Shekhinah is within Galus with us. So we can understand this. So when we have the Shekhinah that's resting in Galus. So the Pashtus, then when the Gula is happening, when we have a Gilu, the Eibusher reveals himself. Then where's that place currently where Hashem, so to speak, in captive? We're saying that's in Beis Rabbeinu, and from there we'll have God. We'll see God. Then we're all going to enter into Israel. Because that's what's going on. Another thing. Now let's understand Rambam. We have 2 Rambams we're going to look at. One, as Avi has presented in his amazing Shir on Rambam, 2-part series. We have one qualification of Mashiach. Never going to be Daik than Rambam, because we know that Rambam is totally b'diuk. Every single word. It's concise, and that we have one thing Rambam says, that Mashiach will beine mikdash mekeme. One of the things we know about Mashiach is going to build the base of Mikdash. It's part of the things that Rambam lists to know Bechazkas Mashiach, who has a chazak on being Mashiach, what he has to accomplish. And so Rebbe is medayik on this, that if the Rambam wanted to say, what's beine mikdash mekeme? Mashiach will build the base of Mikdash in his place. It's a little odd. If the Rambam wanted to say, and of course the Mashiach is going to build the base of Mikdash. If he wanted to list us a place and just tell it where it is, say the Mashiach will build the base of Mikdash in Yerushalayim. But he doesn't. He says b'mekayme, you could say in his place, but everyone reads it as in or in its, you can read it as in its place, meaning Yerushalayim. You can read it as in his place. Wherever Mashiach is found, he's going to build the Beis HaMikdash there. So Rebbe's Medaik, and the Rebbe says, for sure, it doesn't make any sense otherwise. You're welcome to challenge the Rebbe's Pshat. I'd go with the Rebbe's Pshat. Because Rambam holds that Mashiach is going to build the Beis HaMikdash in Galus. And that's already starting the process of Mashiach coming and the Gula coming. Connect this with another Rambam. Not a Rambam, but a Madrash. We know the line that says that Mashiach will stand on the roof of the Beis HaMikdash. And he's going to scream, he's going to announce, Anavi, Magia, Azman, Gulaschem. Right? Humble ones, the time of your redemption has arrived. In rough English. And Rebbe says this also. We're gonna take the first beer, and now we're going to spin a little bit. Seemingly this whole line doesn't make any sense. Feel shit, we started late. They're going now. If you want to go, I won't be offended. So let's look at this. Let's look at this line. Just bepashtus. If we're saying we're already in the Gula, here we have a Medrash telling us Mashiach is going to stand on the roof of the Beis HaMikdash. Guys, the redemption's here. Rebbe says the Pashut doesn't make any sense. If we're talking about Yerushalayim, after we've already gathered, we've gone on clouds, after we made it there, it's all the Yidden are there. Finally, after the process, we built the Beis HaMikdash. Suddenly Mashiach is going to jump up on the roof and say, guys, the Gula is here. Doesn't make sense. Well, and that, what's the Chiddush in this announcement? So Rebbe says, based on what we said now, that we can say that this announcement is not happening in Yerushalayim. It's not happening in the Beis HaMikdash. It's happening within Beis HaDebein the Shabbat Bavel. It's happening within Galus. It makes way more sense for the announcement to happen now and let us know, guys, Gula is here, let's start going, and we're going to transport into Eretz Yisrael. You go there? What? Okay, we're getting there. I'm setting up in Nigla. There's no specifics here. Okay, let's cut to the chase because we have like 2 minutes. So the Rebbe says, where's Beis HaDebeinu now? Rebbe says, Pashtus, it's 770. That's Beis HaDebeinu right now. And the beer is that it's Dafka America. Just like Bavel was the majority of Yidden, so too now the majority of Yidden is in America. And we know that this is the Der Achan Shabagalus, Der Ish Shabagula, the last generation of exile. So this basic we're at right now, Dafka in America, what the Rebbe calls the Chetzi Kader Tachtain, it's like the lowest place. We didn't receive a mountain here. We're not in the Middle East part of the continent. America is the lowest place. The Pashtus, what's happening right now, is in America. The Nasi Ador had to be located there. And from America, from Brooklyn, Dafka, from New York, where the majority of Jews are, or most of the Yidden are, there we have this center. There we have this base of mission that's 770. And now what we started to say makes sense in the context of what we're saying, that from Beis Rabbeinu that unites all the other shuls. That from 770, from Shluchim, what's the whole idea is that we're making America Eretz Yisrael. We're preparing Gullus to be transported into Gula. We're already starting the Gula here in a bit. So by the fact is that we have 770, we have all different shuls being built, we're sending out, they're all connected, they all have the Shekhinah there, but the main Shekhinah is resting in 770, the Rebbe says. And from there, that's pumping to the entire world. The light is going to the entire world through 770. Through Bedavka, the Nasi Dor being in 770, and spreading out this light. And then from there, the Rebbe says, the Farish and the Sech, if you like to see, the Mashiach will reveal himself first in 770. And from there, we're going to travel into Galus, to Gula, to Eretz Yisrael. And just the Pasha, the Rebbe says, you can see Al Derech HaRemez and a couple of things. One of the main things that I points out is that you look at 770, Gematria, Beis Mashiach. This is the house of Mashiach. The Rebbe is also involved in the Sikha that basically the Nasi Dor that's always in Beis Rabbeinu, it's also Mashiach Shabador. The leader generation, Mashiach generation is basically the same thing. So all this time, because that's the whole Inyan of Beis Rabbeinu, even back in Bubble, whenever it is, that leader generation, what's the whole thing? Why is it uniting all of Galus? So we can bring the Gula. And he's the leader generation, the Mashiach that could be at that time, who can unite the Yidden to go in, to unite the Yidden in Galus and bring it to Eretz Yisrael. Rebbe says, Beis Mashiach, we have a couple of things, if you think of Rebbe's name, Ratzta, that we talk about Mashiach, that it's Peretz, Gather, breaks all boundaries, it sends earth to the whole world. We're at a time here.
What's that from the Lashon Rayatz or something?
Yeah, Paratzta, which is Gematria 770. We have from the Pasuk in Chumash, Pratza Lecha Peretz, we call Mashiach that he breaks all boundaries, Allah Peretz Lifneim, a bunch of other things. That's it. The point is, the Rebbe says you should donate money, the Payal, and help build 770 because that is our center in Galus right now. A couple other things, the Payal, but that we should appreciate that The Rebbe says this is the last one, that this is it. This is the final base of Rebbeinu. And 770 is not just a bunch of crazy Israelis running around. It's the center of, the Rebbe calls the center of the entire world for jewelry. And from there we're going to blast straight into the Gula, Mashiach Tzidkeinu, take it from Yad Mamash.
Amen.